Shakti Sundari. Back with you today for Yukti verse 6 of the Radiance Sutras by Lauren Roche. I've been really looking forward to having this opportunity today. So much else going on until this moment, teaching a beautiful Kundalini yoga class this morning, being with a friend and then other stuff, so been waiting and looking forward to this moment to reconnect with these sutras, which have become such an important part of my daily practice and of every day. It's wonderful how this commitment I've made to reading from them every day is really nourishing me in a big way and inspiring me in a big way. Even though I've read them already a couple of times, just sharing them again in this way is inspiring and nurturing me. And oh gosh, I didn't realize I was going to start saying this, but there's something about making a commitment to a daily practice that can really support a person through life. Having a daily practice. I was speaking with a yoga student yesterday, and the student actually asked me to give them a meditation practice to continue with, because they were aware of this need within themselves to sustain the beautiful space that they get into when I teach a private yoga class, but needing more and feeling the ebbs and flows of mood and emotion and mental state in life, and being aware how helpful it can be to have a practice, a daily practice to support, nurture, bring one back to the neutral mind, to center into a greater sense of connection that sustains you through the days. So just putting that out there for anybody who's thinking about it. It's a great thing to dedicate, to commit to some kind of daily practice, whether it's simply meditating or breathing for 3 minutes or 11 minutes a day, chanting a mantra, dancing every morning for 5 minutes, finding something that connects you to yourself, to your body, to your being, and to your higher self. And then gifting yourself that to navigate through the day with. So anyway, I didn't know I was going to say that, it just came out. So we're with Yukti, verse 6. Shiva speaks to Shakti with yet another beautiful meditation and practice to guide her towards the radiance of her own being. So here's the Sanskrit. Ud gajantim tatit rupam pratichakram kramat kramam. Urdvam mushti trayam yavat tavat ante maha udaya. I'll read it again because I just love the sounds. Ud gajantim tatit rupam pratichakram kramat kramam. Urdvam mushti trayam yavat tavat ante maha udaya. The English translation. Trace the river of life that flows through you, the luxuriously rising energies, gradually touching each of the centers along the spine. Savor every shimmer of color along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go. Finally, gently dissolving in the crown of the head. Then above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. Once again, I am aware of how these words in themselves are a transmission of the radiance of life and of a truth that illuminates me simply by speaking and hearing. So let me just speak to some of what is mentioned here. Trace the river of life that flows through you. So once again, this is a reference to our Kundalini life force energy, our Shakti life force that, or a sexual energy that flows when we allow it and are open to it through our body, from our root, our perineum, up the very center of the body, just in front of the spine, to the crown. In fact, it flows through many other channels, but this is our central channel, the main one. The river of life. So have this image of a river of life within your own being. Luxuriously rising energies flowing up, flowing up, flowing up through your center. Gradually touching each of the centers along the spine. So there's a reference to, for the first time in these Yukti verses, your chakras or your energy centers. Many of you will already know this, some of you may not. So this is a system of understanding the body as not just physical but also energy. So these aren't, if you cut the body open you would not see them, but these energy centers do impact upon and connect very much with our physical body and our well-being on every level. So in yogic and tantric philosophy there are 7 main chakras. The first one is at the base, at your perineum, between your sex and your anus. The second is in your womb or your hara space. The third is in your solar plexus. The fourth, your heart center, so between your nipples, here behind your sternum. The fifth, your throat. The sixth, your third eye. And your seventh at the crown. And this is why you may have seen pictures of bodies with different lotus flowers, perhaps, or different colors at each energy center or chakra. And indeed, then he goes on to say, savor every shimmer of color along the way. So say perhaps you would be meditating on your chakras, and this is the practice for this one. You would be aware of the flow of your Kundalini life force energy, but also of each center as it flows up and through. And the guidance here is to savor every shimmer of color along the way. Well, what is meant by that? Well, in your mind's eye, you may become aware of many different colors, and that is beautiful and to be embraced and flowed with. And there are some colors that are identified with each chakra that you could also use in your meditation. So the root chakra, which is about survival, life, the right to be here, groundedness, rootedness. The color red. Your second chakra, your hara, your womb space, is connected with sensuality, sexuality, emotion, relationship, duality, and feeling. This is connected with the color orange. And then your solar plexus chakra, your third chakra, is associated with will, direction, action, output, power. And this is the color yellow. Your fourth chakra, your heart, love, unconditional love, compassion. Here is associated with the color green. Then the throat, communication, speaking truth, expressing yourself into the world, is associated with blue or turquoise. Then we come to your third eye, here, between and just slightly above the eyebrows, is associated with the color purple or sometimes indigo. This center is connected with intuition, wisdom that's beyond the ego mind, extrasensory perception. And that's why we refer to it perhaps as the third eye. Your crown is typically associated with the color white or a purplish white. And this is our connection to all that is, the higher dimensions, our God's or Goddess self. So then, in your meditation, bringing an awareness to each of those centers and the colors associated with them. You could rest, closing your eyes, lying down or sitting up, and just have your hand on each area, breathing long and deep and just meditating on the sensation with your awareness and the color. Savor every shimmer of color along the way. And then Shiva goes on to say, enter each area tenderly, loving as you go. Isn't that beautiful? With such tenderness and with such love and self-embrace. Each of these chakras is also associated with physical organs in that part of the body, with meridians that transmit energy flow through the body, and with different aspects of our lives and our consciousness, some of which I've just mentioned. And sometimes these centers can get out of balance, and or one can be very open, another can be very closed. One can be very developed, one less developed. And this will be reflected typically in the kinds of challenges and difficulties you might be encountering in your life or your health and well-being, and or places where things are really flourishing. So that might express itself in pain or discomfort or ill health or physical sensations such as contraction, tightness, butterflies, lack of flexibility. For example, as an educator of embodied awareness and sacred sexuality, I often look at how people move their hips and their pelvis. And I notice very quickly if there is a blockage there, just simply by observing the freedom and the flow of movement in that area. It's all connected. Body, mind, emotion, spirit connect, are all one. So enter each area tenderly, loving as you go. Embrace and accept what you find there. Breathe into it. Come with love, with loving awareness and loving touch. And you can also do this with a partner, which is very, very beautiful, to simply have a partner put their hands on each chakra for, say, 2 to 5 minutes and breathe with you. Meditate with you on that place. It can be incredibly healing simply by them bringing presence. They don't need to be offering healing or doing anything to you, but just the presence of hands-on breathing together. Very powerful. And then finally, gently dissolving in the crown of the head. Then above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. So this is one aspect of, I guess, the great dawn is the final awakening. So these practices, Tantra, Yoga, we are cultivating, generating, moving this life force energy which flows up and through the body. We are bringing greater awareness to each of our centers, opening and awakening, clearing, purifying, bringing into alignment. And then, ultimately, at some point there may be this great dawn, this great awakening to this realization that we are one, that would be the moment of self-realization. Sometimes we can have an experience of that is fleeting and temporary, and some people live permanently in that self-realized state. So, enjoy connecting with your chakras, with your energy centers, and the awareness of the flow of your life force up and through. Just notice as you meditate there what arises for you, and welcome everything and anything. All is welcome. Thank you so much for being with me, and join me again tomorrow for more from the beautiful Radiance Sutras. Much love and Sat Nam.